Welcome to 75 Stories, a podcast created to commemorate the 75th anniversary of Normandale Lutheran Church in Edina, Minnesota.
My name is Derek Camenga. I am originally from Boise, Idaho, and have spent the last 9 years in Minnesota, the last 5 being in the Minneapolis area. I've been attending Normandale Lutheran since 2021. I met my wife Katie on Hinge, which is a dating app, back in 2021. We went on our first date at a brewery over in Edina, and one of the big topics that came up was religion and our involvement through the years. We had very different backgrounds, so it was a really good talking point for both of us. My faith background, I did not grow up with a religious background. My parents and I'm an only child. My parents and I did not attend church growing up. I had attended occasionally with friends when I'd stay with them on the weekend and their family was going. Really just occasional, nothing consistent. When I was in college, I started attending a chapel group with a few hockey players, teammates of mine, through Hockey Ministries, and that was a good intro for me into, more organized religion. I always had faith growing up, just didn't attend any services or anything. So that kind of piqued my interest in going to church more consistently and growing my relationship with God. And then when I met Katie and we had talked about religion and our faith a bit, and she offered the opportunity to come with her one day when she was singing in choir, I kind of jumped on it and really enjoyed the environment here at Normandale and met some great people, including our former pastor, Paul Pedersen. He was a good welcoming face for me and kind of introduced the Gustavus and St. Olaf rivalry as well. I was a little nervous just being kind of a new environment and people I hadn't met before, but once I arrived, I was really welcomed and kind of felt how close this community was and felt like it was a good fit. So at Normandale, I've gotten involved in quite a few different ways. First, I started as just kind of attending services while Katie was singing up top with the choir, meeting people in that way. Over time, I was asked by Katie to go on the choir tour with the choir group, just kind of as a tag along. Several other spouses went, and it was a great experience. I got to know a lot of people on a very deep level, formed some great relationships there. In addition to that, I've gotten involved with the finance committee, ushering, and setting up for communion. So just a very wide variety of things I never really expected or even knew about that I would get into. And through all of that, I've kind of formed a little network of people that I see every Sunday that I can check in with, and really growing the amount of relationships I have here. Some of the relationships that I've been able to form here, I didn't really expect to go beyond like a church relationship, just looking and not knowing anyone yet. But some of those have been able to translate into more personal relationships. I know with Katie, it's really built on our now marriage and building our relationship through faith. I've also been able to connect a little more with people that I knew on the surface level, but didn't know deeply. So there are a couple people I went to college with that attend here that I've really gotten to know at a much deeper level, spending more time with them, their significant others, and myself and my significant other. So it's really been a rewarding experience to get to know a lot of these people, but it all comes back to taking that first step and coming into the church. At some point along the line, Katie had asked me if I'd ever consider being baptized. That was something I hadn't experienced as a child, and I didn't really know much about it. And after being involved in the church, going on the choir tour trip, getting to know the staff here at Normandale, that question kind of stuck with me, and at some point I kind of just realized that I thought that's something I'd be interested in. And that happened to come right before Pastor Paul was retiring, and having gotten to know him so well on the trip and just talking with him back here at church again, I thought he was a great fit for being that special person that I could ask to baptize me as an adult. So I did ask him, and his first response was, "Okay, great, can we do it on Sunday?" And me being a little introverted and a little on the shyer side, I wasn't really interested in, doing this in front of everyone, but Pastor Paul was able to work with me on that, and he suggested finding a smaller group of people I could surround myself with that would be a little more intimate, but the whole point is you're surrounding yourself with people that will support you in your journey in faith. So I was able to fill that circle both with my now in-laws, my now wife, and mostly people that I've gotten to know in the church. And it felt really special. Everyone was there, specifically for this, and it just felt amazing to have that much support and that much love in the room. In the several years that I've been part of this Normandale community, I've quite a few highlights, but I think a couple in particular come to mind. The first, I've already talked about this, but the choir tour, and just getting to experience different countries, different cultures, and then hearing the Normandale choir sing in these beautiful churches and just amazing venues with very different audiences. I think that was really rewarding, and just getting to know everyone, experiencing different countries with people you don't know really can bring you together. And I think it did just that. So that'd be probably highlight number one. Another highlight would be some of the events that we've had, either the youth or kind of the younger adult community, getting together with all of them and hearing their different stories, kind of realizing, it's not me entering this big group that's so close and everything, it's them welcoming me into it, and just really being curious and wanting to get to know more people. I think that's been really welcoming through my time.
We are so glad you joined us today here at 75 Stories. If you'd like to share your own story, please contact Christy Shepard at kshepard@normluth.org. Join us next week for another story, and share this podcast with your friends and family. We are all part of the Normandale community.